Chapter 1 podcast, your inside look at the people powering Charlotte's business scene. Real entrepreneurs, real stories, right here in the Queen City. Today we have Trina Finch with Trina Sells Insurance. That is the name of the company. Trina, we're excited that you're here with us today. Let's start at Chapter 1. How did you make your way here to Charlotte?
Well, thank you for having me, Greg. So I moved here 13 years ago. A stupid boy. Lasted 4 years,
Those
and
boys.
I'm still here.
So where was it before that? Let's rewind to where did you grow up and what was life like before you made it to Charlotte?
So I grew up in Houston, Texas, and then I decided to go to college in sunny Florida. Met a boy, common theme, and stayed for 20 years, and then made my way to Charlotte, like I said, 13 years ago.
Awesome. So let's talk about the professional journey. Start me with just what was your first job and how did you slowly, bounce around to jobs to doing what you're doing now?
So my first job, I was an educator. 20 years in education, K through 12. Half of my career I spent teaching music. The other half was in language arts and social studies. So I did leave there, did a few other things, and then kind of came back to education because insurance is really just educating people about the protection that they need. It's funny that I fell into it because one of my former students' dad sold Aflac, and I ran into him again on a bad date with a boy. And we ran into one another, and he was like, "Hey, are you still, at the job that I was at?" And I said, "Yes." He goes, "Have you ever thought about selling insurance?" And I said, "Not once ever." And he said, "Most people don't." And then he was also a former educator. And so we kind of talked about the transition and how easy it was to make. So that's how I got to insurance.
Okay, so tell me about the step, because I think a lot of people struggle with this one where they go from I'm working for somebody else to now I'm going to branch out and do my own thing. Or because I think, selling, whatever it is, whether it's insurance or you're involved in the health industry, I think they all kind of operate in the same kind of entrepreneurial status where you're going out and having to get your own business. So what was that transition like for you? Was it scary? Like, walk me through that.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. But I believed in myself. And I had previously been with Lake Norman Small Business Network. Right after teaching, I had started a small business doing websites, social media, graphic design, all those kinds of services for small businesses. And so they had really helped me build that first business. And so I just showed back up, and they helped me build this one as well.
That's awesome. So when was that? When did you officially start this company?
We are just over 2 years ago.
Awesome.
Actually, right at 2 years, yes.
so in those first stages, and I guess we're kind of still in the young phase here, having only owned it for 2 years. What have been your avenues for marketing? Because I think it's one of the biggest obstacles when people think of starting your own thing is now you have to kind of go and do your own hunting, find your own clients. What does that look like for you? How have you obtained clients?
I talk to everybody, and I'm very, like I said, very involved in Lake Norman Small Business Networking. I'm involved with the Charlotte Area Chamber. I'm an ambassador, so it's my job to meet all the people who come. And so just talking to people and really not selling, but just finding out about other people, and then by nature, they're going to want to know about you, and then eventually you find your people. Not everybody's your people. But if you talk to enough people, you'll find your people.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about what it is that you do as somebody that sells insurance. Like, who are the people that need you? Like, what is that process from the outside looking in? What is it that you do?
Well, the insurance space is large, and when I first started, I tried to do it all. And then I had to kind of figure out what I was really good at and where my sweet spots were. And of course, I do help, individuals and families with your typical life insurance and term and individual policies. But really where my lane is helping small businesses with their employee benefits. From the solopreneur to the 200 plus, I can custom curate a plan for them, and I operate as a broker. I'm completely independent, so I've got 55 or so carriers at my disposal. So it's kind of fun for me to kind of curate a custom plan for anybody. I'm a problem solver. So it's like I like to sit down with the business owner and say, okay, what are your pain points? What problems do you need solved? And then figure out a way to do it.
So what are some of those, I guess, bigger problems? If you were to say, what's the biggest thing that you are accomplishing for your clients? What would be your answer to that?
I would say helping my business owners attract and retain top talent, because a lot of your smaller business owners, they don't know that they can offer benefits. And if you have the same pay at employer A and employer B, but employer A offers this list of benefits and employer B doesn't offer anything, even if they like employer B more, they're probably going to go with employer A. So I'm able to sit down and just make those benefit offerings. And, almost all business owners that I talk to, they're like, I just really want to take care of my people. What can I afford to do? Mm-hmm. So I help them do that as well.
Well, it's a pretty saturated, I feel like, field when you think of like health insurance, as far as like the amount of brokers out there. What's something that you do to try to separate yourself and kind of stand out and make yourself a little more unique than other people doing something similar?
And I think, like I mentioned already, I kind of operate as a broker. So I'm not just trying to make products fit situations. If you already have major medical in place, fantastic. Well, let me tweak this side of it. If you don't have major medical, let's look at that. If you can't afford major medical, well, let's look at that. So I can, really just make a custom, and I think that is what differentiates me, because if you just work with one specific company, you're just taking what you have to offer and trying to make it fit a situation. So I think that's what makes me a little more different.
Sure. Well, what's the process like? So if I was an interested party and I said, okay, well, you work in selling insurance. I was trying to think of your company name and it threw me off. I wanted to say it properly.
It's okay.
But if I was interested in that, what does the process look like from me being interested and maybe contacting you to me becoming a client?
So first, we just sit down and literally have a conversation like we're doing now, Greg. We talk about what do you do? What makes you special? And then talk about your employees and what their needs are and what would be your wish list to provide for them if money were no object, and then what does the budget look like? And then we just kind of reverse engineer from there. What are the needs? And then, maybe we can't put everything in place right now, but we look at this piece and then maybe do a layered plan over the next several years. So we just first have a conversation. And then once I have an idea of what it is, then I start making proposals. Does this piece fit? Yes or no? Okay, great. Now this piece. And we just, I hold your hand. It's easy. We go step by step. I'm a teacher, so I'm very good at breaking it down into little homework pieces and due dates. And we walk through the process together.
It sounds like there are a lot of different facets of that process, but what would you say is the thing you love most about what you get to do with these clients?
I think it's having the employers have that feeling of, oh, I can provide this to these people who make me money. I can turn around and now take care of them and make sure that, in some instances it's coverage, or in some instances it's, catastrophic coverage or cancer coverage or accident coverage, and things that, people can't get on their own that they can get through their employer. And just, it's that satisfaction of the employer providing something for those people that take care of them.
That's awesome. So if you were to talk to somebody who's kind of on the edge of what we talked about before, of taking that leap to entrepreneurship that we talked about being a scary step, what's a piece of advice that you've learned over the last couple of years of doing your own thing that you would give that person?
I would say have a plan.
Important, for sure.
Before you quit your job, have a plan. Make sure you have, an idea of how much things are going to cost, and you've saved up, and you kind of step into it with a plan. That's not exactly what I did. I just kind of jumped in with both feet and literally jumped off the side of the cliff. But it's working out so far.
Yeah.
I'm a Pisces. I'm really good at flying by the seat of my pants. So I wouldn't recommend it for everybody.
So what's maybe a misconception that I think some people might have about the field, about what you do, about selling insurance, and that you kind of have to break down? Does that happen often?
Yes, because they hear the word insurance and they say, "Oh, I'm good, I'm covered," and like there's like 1,000 different kinds of insurance. How do you know you're covered? Like we didn't even talk. Like you don't even know what I do, and so people think all insurance is the same. Well, I don't do property and casualty. I don't do your things, your boats and your homes and your cars and your liability. It's not what I do. So people are like, hey, can you get me some? No, there's all these different kinds of insurance. So let's have a conversation about what that insurance means.
So you went from Texas to Florida, and then now you're here at Charlotte. Tell me some things that you like about Charlotte, and then also, I mean, I guess you weren't selling insurance in those other places, but
no.
What are some elements of working here in Charlotte that you think make Charlotte like a good place to start a company?
Charlotte is very diverse. It has just so much to offer, and every kind of company is here, and that can mean for support, finding support for your own company, because so many people have the mindset of competition, but
Right.
It's really more about collaboration. If you see somebody doing what you want to do well, go be friends with them. Go say, hey, will you mentor me? Hey, let's have coffee. Explain to me what you did. And so there is so much here. I think you can find just about anything that you would want to do, and go find the people to help you build that.
Awesome. So if somebody's watching and was interested in what you were talking about, wanted to get in contact with you, how could they find you?
Well, I have this nifty little website, www.trinasalesinsurance.com. You can also find me on all the socials, same handle, or Trina at TrinaSalesInsurance.com. I tried to make it really, really easy to go, hey, who's that girl Trina? Oh, what does she do? She sells insurance. So I tried to make it super, super easy.
If anybody's ever curious as to what it is that you do, you're just like, okay, I'm sorry. You failed, because it's pretty darn easy.
Pretty easy. I tried to make it fail-proof.
Well, Trina, thank you so much for coming on the show. We loved having you on. This is Trina Finch with Trina Sells Insurance. And like always, we are the Chapter One Podcast.